Hey everybody, whew. Welcome back to a new episode of Entropia content. Sorry, I'm really out of breath today because I finally started feeling better and got my morning workout routine in. Now I was happy past few months actually. It's been hard for me to get the workout done in the morning. No pun intended. No, but no, today finally got caught up on sleep. And what is that, Crystal Peak? That's where I want to go. Yeah, I finally got caught up in sleep, and then that helped. So when I woke up in the morning, I didn't have a splitting headache and was able to get my workout in. Whew. The other good news too is after that bad back injury, putting on too much weight in the lockdown was contributing to my back getting really sore. And it was making doing sit-ups way harder. So it was like, it was actually to the point where it wasn't like muscly harder, it was like just couldn't bend properly, and it was putting a lot of pressure on my back. I was like, oh fuck, gonna have to ease back on the sit-ups until I lose the weight, or else it was gonna be just injury city the whole time. So yeah, oh here, Yoshi's still here. Hey Yoshi.
Hello.
Hey everybody. Now I was chatting with Yoshi briefly, telling her about the new daily mission here, and I think she was thinking of checking it out. Which I know even the best Uber player should probably come do the daily mission here, just in between when you're not making deposits and you need something else to work on. Because, I don't know, I don't like it when people say Entropia that there's nothing to do once you run out of new project Entropia dollar deposits. Alright, so let's get going. What am I going to do? Oh yeah, I'm going to go do the daily mission. So in order to do it, I'm going to have to... Oh, is it yellow? No. For a sec I thought it was her. Craft lesser alicia 50 times or attempts. So the attempt one is the one I need to cancel. Daily? No. Multi-faction. Alright, so abandon this one. No, I had some good news / bad news too. Oh, don't tell me. Oh, I was gonna say. Whew. Now let's go for New Elysian. Now I've been doing quite a bit of crafting runs, and I was getting a little bit too much into crafting, a little bored of it, so now I'm going to mix it up and do a little bit mining again. Hopefully I can get enough Listerium this mining run. Oh, thanks for reminding me. I gotta go get some probes or I won't be doing much mining. Nah, I was down in the dumps yesterday a little bit about all my losses on the auction, but thank God, when the Lakers and LeBron James won the championship, that got my mind all distracted from other things. And I was going to get all hateful about it, but I was like, nah, congratulate to LeBron. And it should make it even more sweet next year if we can take the rings or the championship from him. It reminds me when we took it from Golden State. That was pretty sweet. Nah, it was sweet because Golden State had been making fun of our team. So, yeah, once someone makes fun of you and you can get revenge, it makes it that much sweeter. That's why I laugh when people are like, oh, you shouldn't allow people to make fun of other people or even claim that they're better than them. And I was like, really? Isn't that usually what drives people to new heights? Is when people claim that they're superior to you? It's like, oh yeah, you think you're superior, do you? And then you fucking kick their ass. That's like we're in the baby mentality society. It's like someone can't even claim something. It's like, shouldn't you have to prove them wrong? Just silence them. That's what I was thinking with Tommy Tellerico too. Like when he does his stuff, I think he drives himself to the highest heights when people say he can't do something. So yeah, you gotta beware. It's like, as much as it's nice to silence people saying mean things, it's better just to prove them wrong, right? Now I'd get into more some political stuff, but man, I want to get on to Entropia today. Now I was thinking of going over that huge thing that I was talking about yesterday, about that new page that I found that's got events for Entropia. Isn't it funny when you think you found all the Entropia people doing events, and then you end up finding more and more? So maybe that's what we need in Entropia, eh? There's like some Entropia website that you could log on to. It would list everything going on in the game. Like stuff going on at different planets, like what the official Mind Arc events are on each planet and such. Here's one of the Striders. See, this is the print that I got for crafting yesterday. I can make these. I think I want one of these, eh? Well, I already have one, so maybe I don't need to make it right away, but... yeah, I should go check. What is the one I have? What storage did I put it in? I'm not carrying it here. I'll have to check what storage I put it. If I had to guess, I probably put in Rocktropia. Ooh, I love Claire's dress, eh? Yeah, nice dress. And where's that arrow pointing exactly? Alright, come on, get my mind out of the gutter. Sorry, it's early in the morning. That's when I'm in the gutter the worst. It's hard not to be. Pardon the pun. Alright, so let's go to my tried and true Listerium area. Maybe I should try mixing it up. This time go from Hunter's Peak and see if I can make it there. Nah, that one's a hard one to get over. Let's try this one, see if I can make it there and around, and I'll make my way in reverse. I thought it was someone saying yes for the dress, but it was no. It was someone saying thanks for the repairs. Alright. So, let's hope for a little bit of Listerium today, eh? Yeah, I still had 20 probes left from last time. So we'll see, we started with 6 probes. See how it goes. Yeah, I forgot to check. What's the status of my finder? What is the tier rate at? Tier 2.8. Can hardly wait till it's ready to tier up again. I'm pretty sure once I get the 3rd tier up, I'll be one of the first people to do it. Let's check. Oh no, someone did tier 3 it. Tier 4 is the one that's no one's done. I'm assuming because it was really expensive. Can you believe, like, some people bought a tier 1 and a tier 2 for around 100 ped, and it's like 250 ped in supplies just to tier it up. Not to mention all the time. So I was like, shit, if I could have bought a tier 3 for 200, I would have easily bought that. Anyways, let's hope we can tier this sucker up, and... oh yeah, this is going to be really hard. I think that... oh wait, no, I'm thinking somewhere else. Am I at Warrior's Peak? The hell, is this yeah, it is Warrior's Peak. What the hell? I thought it was... so I should have started there. That's where I gotta start. Oh well, let's try a little bit of mining on Warrior Peak, and then if it sucks balls, we'll just move to the other one. Did I drop a probe? Yeah. Yeah, so I hope everyone had a good Thanksgiving. I was just reading the Thanksgiving well wishes from our Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau. And it's funny, people always assume, because I'm bashing a lot of what Trudeau says, that I hate him as our Prime Minister. But if the election was today, I'd probably vote for him again, just because we don't have a better option. And I'm hoping that better option comes one day, because I do think it's time we moved on to a new type of party. I was thinking that's actually good in a way, that all of the parties have kind of fallen apart. What it is every party in Canada has turned into the same party. It's funny, like other people have even started to notice it too. They're like, hey, it's like when you stack up each party and then put what their values are and what they're going for, it's all identical. The only thing any of them really differ on is how to label bathrooms. So I was like, man, as bad as this keeps going, it's good because it's paving the road to create the need for a new party. Who doesn't love new parties? Excuse me. Now I'm still doing the Sober October thing. It's going pretty well. I was doing some rough days and wanting to Jones when people are partying and smoking around me. It was a little bit tempting. But today I'm feeling top of the world, so not really that bad. Not even close to Jonesing. Right, I was finding a lot of fruit here last time in this region, so I'm hoping that'll continue. It's weird, some bushes here. Normally on this graphic setting I don't get much bush. Is that what you like, less bush? Turn it off? I can't get my mind out of the gutter, jeez. Yeah, you notice a lot of YouTubers are always selling those, or promoting those new body hair trimmer devices. I don't know, when I was like a teenager, I used to be like total wolf man, where I like to let myself grow to the point where I was like freaking animal. But then I had this one moment of revelation when I was like working out, trying to impress the babes. And this one babe was actually at the swimming pool in my apartment building, and she was like totally eyeing and winking at me, so I'm like, alright. So then when it came time to go swimming and I took off my shirt, I was like, oh, I'll show off all my muscles. What do you know, as soon as she seen the fucking body hair, she was like wanted to puke. You could see it. And she even left like right away. I was like, oh god. It's like then I started to realize, I'm like, man, as much as this like wolfman appearance is oppressing me, it's not impressing the ladies, so it's like I should really try to mix it up. And it actually had me so down in the dumps, it was reminding me of that, was it that Pink Floyd movie? Was it The Wall, I think? I can't remember if it's that movie. Yeah, it might be. Anyways, he was getting down in the dumps too, and in order to cheer himself up, he decided to try shaving his entire body. It's like even his eyebrows, I think. That's a little excessive. That's when you start looking like a serial killer. Oh, here we go. I was going to say, am I going to find anything? That's like 10 probes, no finds. Yeah, so I was like, hey, I'm down in the dumps. And at least if I shave everything myself, I don't have to pay anyone else to cut my hair. Oh yeah, that was when I first started going bald too. So I was like, oh, can I stand being bald? It's funny how being bald is like a weird transition phase. In the beginning, you're like all paranoid. You're like, oh, gotta try to keep my hair somehow. Wait, do I have another finder? Yeah, let's do that. Let's use up this limited one so I don't have to keep carrying it. And then most people realize is that once they shave their head and get used to seeing themselves with the shaved head, they're like, holy shit, it's like, I fucking hate hair. It's like, I'm so glad I went bald. But anyways, no, it's like hair is a lot of work, right? Like I used to have long hair right to the end of my back, and I was like, geez, constantly brushing it, combing it, washing it. It's like you still have to wash your head, but it's like, when you're bald, it's like you can just take a cloth and be like, oh, done. No combing or any of that bullshit. I'll save that to the ladies. Yeah, ladies with sometimes run into that same problem where they freak out about going bald if they got some like health issues or something. A lot of vegan ladies end up running into this problem very early on. Even in their 20s, they're going bald because they don't have the nutrients to produce hair anymore. Or the animal nutrients, whatever you want to call them. Omega-3, I think it is. Yeah, but like, I don't even mind ladies that shave their head. It's like if they want to wear wigs, and they got that option too. I know it's our society that we're always like so against women being bald. It doesn't bother me at all. Even before I was bald, it didn't really matter to me. What did I find? Was that a good find? Looks like 2 clicks already. Oh, I know what it is. It's because I'm using the smaller mining tool, so it takes more hits in order to finish it. It's having difficulty finishing quick. It should get my shirts. Now guys, don't worry. Before Christmas comes, I'm going to get some new shirt stuff. More serious ones that are cooler to buy. They'll actually look cool to wear. Although I'm pretty sure if you wore that one, you'd get a few chuckles. And you know it's key, guys. It's like you can make a lady laugh. She'll overlook a lot of other faults. Trust me. Ooh, a tiny two. Alright, seems like we've got a little bit of Listerium hotbed around here. I'm liking it. I don't see any fruit, but I'm not after the fruit today. Yeah, let's put this down here so I don't have to keep moving each time. Work smart, not hard. Yeah, so to finish that story, what I tried is like shaving my whole body for the first time, except for my eyebrows, obviously. And I was surprised, just like the Pink Floyd movie, it's a freeing experience. It's like you kind of get too attached to hair, and it's like just letting go. It's kind of like symbolic of letting go of all the issues that are stressing you out in life. And it's like a change. Usually if you're getting depressed or too much, it's too much of the same. So when you change up, it's like it works miracles. Not to offer health advice, but just my own experiences, sharing how it worked for me. That'd be the funny thing. If I became leader, I would make it so people could offer health advice. So you don't have to keep making that stupid disclaimer. It's like, God, if someone's dumb enough to take your advice, then it should be evolution at its peak. Nah, it's cruel and all, but really, natural selection is how the world thrives. If you start babying everything and making everything perfect, we're not really progressing. Alright, so this little area doesn't seem so bad for minerals. Keep finding decent amount of hits. I wonder if I already have enough Listerium. I hope. Oh, this finder seemed to mine a big chunk all at once. What the hell? Maybe since the hits are so good here, I'll stay around the edge of the shore. Nah. I probably got everything here already. Yeah, and if anyone wants to put in the comments in the chat, if you guys are using the rookie finder too, have you ever found like a good loot with it? Like close to like an actual global? I've heard it's possible, but I think the biggest find I've ever found with the rookie finder is when I used it on FOMA. I had a 10 ped hit of Listerium. So I was like, holy shit, like compared to how much that probe cost, that was a good find. Obviously in retrospect it is tiny amounts of money, but just the principle. I don't know, how many hits was that in a row? It's like, God, I feel bad for leaving this area. Alright, can't stay one spot forever. Gotta keep moving. Alright, my plan is to try to get up onto that mountain, but I don't know how the fuck I'm gonna do it. I think I might actually have to swim over here and then hit the teleporter thing, because the teleporter thing should just spawn me in that one irritating place that I kept spawning to. Oh shit, I think there's sharks in the water. Don't you just hate swimming in shark-infested water? That's the one thing, as much as I want to see salt water, the ocean, or even a sea one day, freaking paranoid as hell as sharks. I'm pretty sure a shark would go for me like right away because it would want my nutrients. I don't know if people have heard the old ways, but you are what you eat is more literal than what people think. Yeah, I never even realized it, but some countries' governments started to realize that some of the ancient Bible stuff, when it was talking about the the occult secrets of cannibalism, was actually true. Like I found out from my buddy that used to be a missionary in Papua New Guinea. It's like he grew up on Papua New Guinea because his parents were missionaries. So he got to talk to people that were doing human cannibalism all the time, and he would like hang out with them. That'd be a little paranoid, right? No, but they weren't like killing people and eating them, but what the tribe did, sorry if anyone's eating breakfast, is they had this tradition where whenever someone died in the village, depending who they were, they would eat their remains. And what the deciding factor was is the whole you are what you eat thing. So if they had a village warrior that was like super strong, his remains were like prized because they would feed him to the other warriors and they would get all of his strength. It's weird, eh? I didn't even know that worked with food. So yeah, and then the same thing would go with knowledge. If they ever had a wise man that died in the village or whatever, if they had other wise men, they would make sure that they divvied him up to them. And it's like, oh god, it's so disgusting, but can you imagine? It actually worked in the village for thousands of years, and the Bible talks all about it too. So I was like, holy shit, it's like... And then the same thing I found out from First Nations history. They were doing it too. I don't think, well, maybe a little bit of the cannibalism, but I shouldn't say that because that's a pretty severe accusation. But anyways, what they would do is they realized it with animals. So they said sometimes there was like different animals and different things that you could eat where you would need knowledge. So it's like, say your fishermen were like having a really hard time fishing. They couldn't find the best fishing spots, and the village or tribe or whatever was starting to starve. What they would do is they would get the person who had to figure out this problem to eat a diet of only fish for like 2 years. And they said in that point what would happen is the fish energy from just eating the same kind of fish over and over again for 2 years would completely regenerate the body's brain cells to have like the knowledge of fish. So then all of a sudden this person, after 2 years of consuming fish, would have all the information they needed about fish. So then they could find good places to fish again. Same thing with elk. It's like, say they couldn't catch any more elk and they needed like or they were having trouble with maybe planting their crops. So they're like, oh, our crops aren't working out this year and we need some more information about crop planting. Then they would eat an animal that just like consumes crops all the time. And same thing, the body or the food they were eating would rewire their brain chemistry. And then I looked it up, and like science is actually still debating this. They're trying to figure out like exactly how much of your brain cells are made from animal fat and how much of it gets replenished every 2 years. Like the cells get rebuilt, right? They always say that each time your cell lives and dies, your body's constantly rebuilding and destroying shit, right? So yeah, that's one of the things that I think governments started to try to control it, because then they started to realize that like pagan people were eating tons of goats, and they figured out that if like you didn't want your people to be pagan, then you should feed them less goat. I mean, you'll notice like North America, we have almost a very strict diet of like no goat, and then all of a sudden we stop doing the goat ways, the paganism. Yeah, and some countries even took it to more extremes where like some of the village elders started to realize that the freaking disgusting part of like, you know, vampirism, how you can drink blood. And that's like the whole vampire thing. Well, people started doing it for animals. Like some farmers would like drink fucking chicken blood like right out of the chicken like after killing it live. And then they started to get huge rushes of energy. So then they started to like ban the fucking people from drinking blood. It's like, hey man, we don't want like people acting like vampires and going around killing animals and drinking their blood. And I was surprised. Like I was talking about that in different YouTube videos, and people would comment that where they live in certain islands like Puerto Rico or something, or a lot of, what is it, the places that are half pagan, half like Catholic or whatever, or Christians or what is it, they are still doing it. where they realize, hey, if we drink fresh blood out of like recently deceased animals, it's giving them huge boosts of energy and stuff. I try to jump when I come near land and water so I don't get stuck. So yeah, there's like a whole bunch of knowledge and information that's been lost over the centuries or even thousands of years of what you are, what you eat actually means. Can't mine in this location, why not? No, there's a couple like people that track the decay of vegans, and they show that that's actually one of the things that happens when you eat plants all the time. You start to get like the knowledge of plants. Some people even say that like people that eat just plants, once they've done it for like over 2 years, it starts to reprogram all their body chemistry. So no longer is their cells made from animal fats, but they're actually going to be made from the very minimal plant fat you can get, like from avocado, or I guess, or whatever. And they showed how their eyes even change. It's like, you know how like prey has different eyes than predators? How like their eyes are sort of like sideways and stuff? Or they have that weird prey look in their eye? It's like that same thing starts to happen to people that just eat plants. I was like, holy shit, you actually start acting like prey. Looking and acting, the whole thing. Yeah, don't worry, I'm not really into any of that stuff in real life, because heck, even if I wanted to eat all these high quality meats and stuff, it's like, I could never even afford them. Well, I probably could afford them, it was just, where I'm staying right now, I get all the food purchased for me, for helping to look after my uncle, so I'm not really going to try to waste money on buying different exotic foods. I just eat whatever's given to me. Unless it was human cannibalism stuff, then I would refuse it. I don't know, if you guys went to Papua New Guinea, do you think you could do it? I never would. It's too nasty. It's like, even if you could eat it and become the next freaking Einstein, I'd be like, nah, I'd rather be an idiot. Alright, there we can get some probes down. Now that's what I was wondering, like in India, in places that have banned eating cows, was there some sort of knowledge from cows that the government didn't want them to get? Or pork. Maybe it's like, that's why the Bible is so insinuous against eating pork. It literally will turn you into a pig. Maybe that's what happened to me. I used to eat a lot of bacon, although bacon got more expensive, so we hardly ever buy it anymore. I can't even remember the last time I had bacon. I think it was over a year ago. To be honest, I don't really miss eating pork that much. The one I miss is steak. I can't believe the effects from eating steak. Maybe it's I'm low in iron or something, but holy shit, when I eat a steak, it's like, fuck man, my energy is like off the hook. It feels like, I don't know what steroids feels like, but I bet you it's similar to that. Now, thankfully, when I first got into working out in gyms, I was working out at a place called the Olympian Gym on Victoria Street. And the nice part about training there is I got to train with a whole bunch of athletes. Well, not a whole bunch, I guess 2 or 3 athletes that actually were Olympians. They competed in the Olympics. So it's like you got to train and actually ask advice from other Olympians. And so they had all the knowledge about what happens if you do steroids and shared it all. The whole thing where your fucking balls shrink, and it was like, okay, that's enough for me to stay away. Not that I want huge balls, but shrinkage is something I try to avoid. And I really got first-hand knowledge too about like what happens with your genetics that you pass on to kids. Because I was thinking, my dad, I guess, was pretty scrawny and stuff when he had me, so I wasn't naturally a big guy. But then I'd be at the gym with some people who are like, oh, my dad's like a fucking Olympic weightlifter or whatever. Kid comes to the gym, he's never even worked out before in his life, takes off his shirt and he's like ripped like fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger. I was like, Jesus, I wish I was born like that. And then you'd be complaining too. He's like, oh, I need to put on more muscle. I'm like, dear God, man, you're already ripped. It's like, how much more muscle do you want? Yeah, I always wondered that, like, how much is your parents' genetics actually affecting you? It's like, holy shit, does it ever? But yeah, same thing. I had a buddy that was from, was it El Salvador, I think? He had to escape to Canada as like a migrant. One of the nicest guys you could ever meet. What was his name? I think Jamie? But anyways, yeah, like, he was lucky too. I don't know if it's because he was training or what, but like, he was built like an Olympic weightlifter in like grade 5. It's ridiculous. I think he was saying where he was from, it was like same thing, strong genetics. It's like if you had like any disease or anything like you weren't very strong, your genetics were not going to survive there. So as harsh as it is, the survival of the fittest, man, does it pass an advantage onto your offspring. Yeah, I miss that guy, Jamie. He was so nice that when he found out, like, we both went to the same Catholic school together. And I think the reason he went to Catholic school is because he lived near it. He wasn't actually a practicing Catholic. Although back then you had to pretend that you were, so he still went to church with us occasionally. But as soon as it came time to high school, and we lived closer to a public school, he ended up switching. And how I found out is because I ended up moving out. My parents got divorced, and I was always fighting, going back from one parent to the other. And when I went to live with my dad, I switched to public school. And then who did I run into? It was Jamie. I was like, what the heck are you doing here? And he was like, same thing. What are you doing here? It's like, aren't you guys supposed to be in Catholic school? Yeah, but then later on, as we went through school, he was always telling me, he's like, man, I'm disappointed in you. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, you're hanging out with the wrong crowd. He's like, you're getting involved with smoking weed too much and it's ruining your life. I was like, what a good guy. It's like, how many friends would actually have the balls to tell you that? Really should have listened to him more. And I think the one thing Jamie was hooked on was hot babes. It's like he never really talked about like drugs and partying. His thing was cars and hot babes. He had all the information about what happened to all the babes from the old school. He's like, man, she's even hotter now. Yeah, so I guess everyone's addicted to something, right? Alright, so before I dig up this find, hey, is that a pork? Mmm. It's Mr. Bacon. No, someone was telling me at my local petting zoo, we used to have some pigs in a cage, and they put out a sign out front calling them bacon and eggs. It's like, say hi to bacon and eggs. Hey. Where is it? Sorry, I moved all my links today. Today's food guide episode was brought to you by Crack. Crack, it'll fuck you up. Woo! I was thinking as a leader, that'd be pretty ideal, right? If you wanted your people to never revolt against you, you just get them to eat more plants. Get them to behave like prey instead of predators. Well, for a second I looked up and I thought, oh, the mission wasn't working. Or is it just me, or am I never moving on the map? This is getting annoying. I think I got sidetracked and walked the same place more than once. I'm trying to make my way over to this blue teleporter. Excuse me. Nah, I was going to share the scale information, but it hasn't really changed much. I think I'm still at, what is it, 2... Fuck, now I can't remember. Am I at 213? God, now I gotta check. Oh yeah, 203.8. Now I was really paranoid because I had a giant turkey dinner, but doing that 1 meal a day thing seemed to cancel it out reasonably. Unless my brother was telling me if you eat too much, usually it doesn't show up on the scale for a couple days. So I was like, oh geez, maybe it's still gonna hit me. Yesterday I kind of splurged a little bit too. Didn't get into the junk food, thank God, but I had some extra bread. I've been cutting back on bread, so I was like, need a little bit more fiber. I'll allow myself to have 2 dinner rolls. And so far, so good. No huge gains yet. Well, yesterday too, I splurged and had a glass of pop. I was like, I hadn't had pop in a long time or anything sugary. I didn't like it, so I was like, thank God. I was worried that I was going to drink it and get hooked again. Now, I used to hang out like with a lot of waitresses from the service industry back when I did the bartending thing for a little while. And I noticed a lot of servers and waitresses would always be dieting, trying to like get skinnier so they could get better tips. The whole equality thing, right? Like, when it comes to women complaining about making less than men, remind them about the service industry. It's like any woman that works in the service industry makes about 10 to 100 times more than their male counterpart, all tax-free under the table. So it's you're going to start complaining about making less money? We got something for you. Equality. Nah, it's the whole victimhood. If women really want to show off some cleavage to get better tips, I got nothing against that. If anything, I probably got something for it. I'm the worst. If a waitress is like showing her boobs a lot, like cleavage style, it's like I'll tip like $10 for like $1 meal. This one server, she was so nice. Like every time she's like, "Oh, you're a good tipper." It's like, "Thank you," and always leans forward to collect it. It's like I'll try not to look or stare at least. It's not so bad to look, is it? Can't kill me to dream. Yeah, there's really a lot less resources here. I probably should have stayed in that area that was so hot. It's like we're always looking for something better, right? Let me check, make sure I didn't miss any claims while I'm talking. Sometimes I start getting paranoid and I'm like, shit, was I talking so much that I hit a find and didn't even mine it? I've got to hurry this up. I want to finish this mining mission before the end of the show. Here's some weird minerals. Platinum. It's a 2-1. Man, I should have thought of this idea sooner. Use up the limited tool so I don't have to keep fucking carrying stuff for weight for no reason. Holy, 40, 46. That was a pretty good one. Remember the first day I did this mining run? Didn't I get like a really good one? I can't remember what it was, like a pet or something. And I think if I had the ideal diet and I was trying to live off the grid, I would go with chickens, fish, and the occasional big game. And have a big garden. I know, I was thinking, it's down in the dumps as I got it, failing at that whole off-grid situation, and then realizing that, hey, I probably should live into the city as long as I can, because most people that are living in the middle of nowhere always dream about moving to the big city one day. So I shouldn't always be bitching about the grass being greener on the other side. But who knows, maybe one day life will throw me a curveball and I will actually get some sort of ranch off-grid going. That'd be pretty sweet. Ideally, I could probably try to do both. That'd be sweet. No, I got some good news. Me and my brother were talking about the whole situation, what's going to happen after our parents die, and are we going to fight about all the different things? Like who should live where, who should get what house? And he had a great idea. He's like, the lot that we're living on right now, where I am, and I was complaining about having to move if anything bad happened to everyone living here, and all of a sudden I had no roommates left. Which would be a pretty big disaster, but yeah. But anyways, he was saying his plan is, since the house that we're living in here is already so old, like the house I live in it turned 100 years old today. Or not today, this year. It was built in, 100 years, 1920. So it's a fucking ancient house. Like, even though it's still in really good shape, it's been renovated quite a bit over the years. A lot of things that are brand new in it again, except for like the base of the actual house. And he was saying it's stupid because the lot we're on is like right downtown. Like you can literally like walk to either of our hardcore downtowns in like 5 minutes from where we live. And it's like it's still like a wooded area with trails and stuff, so it's like you have the best of both worlds. It's like you're living in like this nice wooded area with lots of trees, but right close to downtown and like one of the biggest cities in the country. And the real estate prices are just skyrocketing. Like when my parents bought this house, I think what they say it cost 30 grand. Now it's like worth millions, so it's like, geez. And the main reason it's worth millions is because giant lot. It's got like I think a half acre or something. So having a half acre downtown is like ridiculous, right? Like our backyard is giant. If anyone's seen pictures, it's like most people have a backyard that's like maybe 1/10 the size of ours. And the main reason they had these old style big backyards, like from the 1920s, is back then they had lots more room, so they were making the properties bigger. And we have train tracks in our backyard, so they tried to put a bit of space from the houses and the train tracks. So anyone that lived near train tracks has like a giant backyard. And the trails on the train tracks now too, so ideal. But anyways, he was saying with such a giant lot like that in a really old house, what would happen if like worse came to worse and everyone died? What would happen is, if we had to split it, he would just tear down the old house and build like a apartment type unit, like one of those big houses that has more than one units in it, and then everyone could just have their own unit and do whatever they want with it. I was like, yeah, that's actually a great idea. So then all three of my brothers could not have to fight over one house, sort of thing, right? And it's not uncommon. There's actually quite a few people that have already done that on their street. This one guy, like I think 4 or 5 houses up, he built like a fucking giant apartment complex in his backyard. So he has like 10 apartment buildings just attached to the back of his house. So I was like, holy shit, right? Like, we really do have enough to make tons of apartments. And my brother's already so wealthy that he could easily afford to tear down a house and build a new one. It's like he buys new trucks that are like 60 grand just for fun. I think he has like a fleet of like 6 trucks now. It's ridiculous. Now, his small business really took off, which I'm happy because I put in a lot of sacrifice to help his business, so I was hoping one day it would take off. Fuck, even got a good scar to help. Nah, I shouldn't say a scar. Actually healed pretty good. You can't even see the scar anymore. Yeah, so I'm proud of my little brother, and yeah, he's got a good plan going there. Now, normally we fight a lot, so I was like, holy shit, like, I'm surprised he had such a good solution that was able to dissolve the conflict. Now my dad's house, on the other hand. No, I'm just kidding. No, my dad was funny. It's like he went around buying up a whole bunch of houses as the years went on, and he eventually worked his way up to like a giant mansion. And thank God he got roommates. For a while he was living in like a house, and even the real estate agent was laughing. He's like, man, when he sold him the house, he said it was enough for like 8 people to live in. It was just my dad. No, my dad milked the government union jobs for a while. Man, did he make a killing. And he used to always joke when I would ask him, I'm like, Dad, it's like the union's like really paying extremely high work or money and you barely ever have to work. I'm like, isn't this going to bankrupt the government one day? He's like, oh, don't worry. It'll be some future generation that happens to. And I was like, oh yeah, it happened to be my generation. No, it's funny, like Canada Post back in the day, I shouldn't bash on them, but my dad would finish his shift sometimes like 3 or 4 hours, and the post office would still pay him for 8. And I was like, holy shit. I'm like, how does this work? And he's like, well, you're getting paid to finish a run. So if you just like did your run really fast, you could go home after. And it's like sometimes he would get a run that was so short, he would work 3 or 4 hours a day and be getting paid for 8. I was like, dear God, man, the union is fucking amazing job, but just sucks for the people paying their wages, right? Like the taxpayers getting totally ripped off. But hey, he had a family to support. I don't blame him. It's like if I had a family, I'd probably be milking the union shit too. No, for me, being single and not having a family to support, when I had the opportunities to get into the unions, the corruption was just too sickening. I couldn't take it. Like, I think the worst I ever seen was I think I saw someone getting paid over $100 an hour, working like 14-hour shifts, and they were just pretending to work. And the entire supervisor staff was okay with it because they were all cousins and related to each other. I'm like, oh my God, like, how many city employees are making over $100 an hour and just pretending to work and then doing 14-hour shifts a day? It's like we start to wonder where our fucking government's going broke. It's like, gee, I wonder. But you gotta hand it to the unions, right? Like, they look out for their families and they're definitely good providers. That's that whole swearing in ceremony, right? Like, they make the union employees swear they'll never tell anyone what's going on. It's like when you get a job and they tell you to swear not what's going on, it's like you're probably getting paid pretty good. That's the one thing, what is it, the Rebel Media was talking about? They released yesterday, like, where all the money's been going in the pandemic. Like, you know how, like, the country's, like, really going broke? Like, we tripled our debts, like, in 1 year, that hundreds of years of debt had accumulated prior to that. So it's, like, off the hook how much they're spending. And then they always try to blame it on, like, other people are blaming, oh, it's the left side, or oh, it's the right side, the conservatives, the liberals. But no, they traced it, and all the money was going right into the union's pockets. It's like the teachers union took a huge chunk of it, the hospital union took a big chunk of it, and the manufacturer unions took a big chunk. Like the auto sector, they made a huge killing off of the pandemic. But hey, I don't blame them, right? Like, they got families to support. Might as well milk the taxpayer for as much as they can. Especially the hospital workers, like, man, they were really putting their lives at risk in this whole situation. So if they started to milk stuff, I wouldn't blame them. Fuck, I'd be definitely doing that in their situation. And I feel bad about sharing the bad stuff that's happening with the unions, because almost all my friends work for the unions. So I'm like, geez, no wonder I hardly have any friends left. I'm the worst for that. It's like, I don't sugarcoat anything, even if it's like making fun of my own friends. Hence why I'm alone. Alright, there we go. As bad as it was that they started me back here, I wanted to get to the water's edge. And it wasn't going to happen the way that was going. Notice I haven't found any fruit this episode? What the fuck's going on? Alright, we still got 10 minutes. Do I have enough time to finish this? Fuck, I hope so. What I want to do is collect the Listerium, get the Listerium crafting mission, or Lesser Elijah, and then do both of them at the same time, see if we can finish, and finish quick. You ever wonder how the mining engine works in Entropia? Like sometimes I wonder if like even walking around is even required, that they just calculate how much you spent on probes and they're going to give you a certain amount back even before you start going around looking. So it really doesn't even matter where you mine or where you drop the probes. It's already all predetermined by how much you spent. Ooh, this is good. Jinxed it. I'm starting to love Next Island. Like, there's so much action I can do here. Like, I noticed on Rocktropia, a lot of the stuff they do there is, like, so socialist that it's, like, really I'm just, like, picking up the scraps other people left behind. But at least on Next Island, like, when I do this daily mining mission, I'm not picking up anyone else's scraps. This is actually, I can just go and do it myself. I don't require help or handouts from anyone. Did it not drop a probe? I thought it did. Sweet. I love it when it doesn't find anything after you've like ran down a big hill. Because I'm like, I wouldn't have wanted to have to run all the way back up that hill. Unless it was a global or something, then I probably wouldn't complain about it. Probably. Knowing me, who am I kidding? It's like, damn, a Hall of Fame, but I have to walk all the way up this hill. Man, all the way back up this hill. Yeah, this is good. I've almost used up all this rookie or digger. Oh, is it 2? So maybe it won't be so bad. I want to find a 3 one of these days. It's been a while. Shut up, Juice. Now I poured a little tiny sip of Mountain Dew into my water drink to see if it would taste at all like Mountain Dew. No. I think Mountain Dew requires a lot of sugar to taste like Mountain Dew. I'll drop another one there, just try to speed this mission up. How many times are we at? 43. Oh god. You keep wanting me to walk up this hill. I like Belker though. That's one of those resources that it's pretty useful. A lot of prints use it. Yeah, big shout out to some of the other people from Entropia that have been contacting me. Who was it? James Booth was saying that he's going to drop by my shop and check it out if I could give him the coordinates. So I sent him the coordinates. Sorry if it took me a while to send that. I haven't been really keeping up with messages very well lately. Summer is quickly ending and I'm like getting so much harvest season work. I got fucking pot drying everywhere over my whole house. It's a nightmare. Now I was kind of joking like to myself yesterday, like back when I was younger, weed was so scarce that I used to go around with tweezers trying to pick up little scraps that I could find that I dropped on the ground because I'd be so broke that I couldn't get any more and I wanted to roll a joint so bad. And now it's like pounds of it are just everywhere. It's all over the tables, all over the dressers, hanging off every wall. Oh, here's some fruit. It's like everything really is the opposite of what it used to be. Good old opposites. I gotta really start making edibles for weed because I grow so much, there's no way I can smoke it all. It's like even keeping up with just the 4 plants, I've found ways of bushing them out so that 4 plants can grow well, not tons, but I don't know, probably around 5 pounds a year I could grow from 4 plants. So that's a lot, right? Like 5 pounds, like 16 ounces in a pound. Even running out of room, putting it in the freezers. One of my favorite things to do with cannabis is to put it in a heat press. I don't know if anyone's tried that yet, but man, is that fun. Now, back in the old days, people used to think the only ways you could get the THC out of the plant matter was to either make hash or to make oil. But I can't remember if it was the 1990s or the year 2000, maybe even 2010. But anyways, someone realized that if you take two objects that are really hot and squish as hard as you can a piece of weed, all the THC will just squish right out of it. So you don't have to use chemicals, you don't have to do any other complicated processes, you can just squish it out. I call it squishing. I forget what other people call it, like heat pressing or something. Rosin press, that's what they call it. So I got into the pressing and man, is it fun. It's a lot of work though, so I was like, shit, that's kind of why I got out of it, because man, you could spend hours doing it. If anyone wants to check it out, I think I put the video on this channel, or it might be my other channel, I'll have to check. Now I had another YouTube channel going for my invention, the vaporizer attachment, but after that whole project fell apart, I just kept the website going, the YouTube thing. Didn't add anything more to it much. So if you want to see a squish video, just check out the JVOC Vaporizer website. I think that's where I have it. Yeah, maybe I'll link it at the end of this video if I can remember. Hopefully. Oh, 2 more probes to drop. Will I have time? 3 minutes. Boy, it's close. Alright, let's do a double drop here so we can get some double D, double drop. Who doesn't love the double D, right? Your mind out the gutter. Alright, nothing from that one. I think it's going to go right on the money, that I used the 5 peta probes in order to do this mining mission. So this will be the last attempt. The last big failure. Let's make it a good last failure. Oh fuck, I'm still ages away from the teleporter. I was hoping I could finish in time and get to the teleporter, but I'll have to do that while you guys are gone. I don't know, checking out this list, I'm starting to get more familiar with it, eh? It's not always a surprise which blueprints are on it. I was thinking what I should do is I'll pick the leggings and we'll start stacking them. So I'll have like a decent stack of legging prints. The bracers, the face mask, it probably will sell pretty good for Halloween. Well, let's go with leggings. Or no, face mask. Yeah, let's do leggings so I can test. Should be able to stack them, right? I don't see any reason not. Uh-oh. Harpersex Sprite leggings. Oh my god. So if anyone's wondering if you can stack these prints, that's one glitch that I found already. You can't stack them. So that's really a disaster. Because now I can't just keep collecting these prints because I'm going to run out of space. Well, obviously it's going to take a while to run out of space, but Hey, maybe I'll make that the title of the video. I gotta make like an open background. Every time I'm making these video thumbnails, I don't leave any room to write. So I'll mention this to Next Island. There's a bit of a glitch going. What? God, I wish it was the other hand. The other hand just doesn't work good for some stuff, right? Come on, I put it on. How come it's not turning red? Alright, so yeah, that's how I'll make the thumbnail. I'll be like, Next Island reward prints for daily missions can't be, well, that's going to be way too long for a title. I'll put can't stack. Yeah, that's what I'll put. Can't, prints won't stack. Yeah, can't stack. Maybe that's it. Oh yeah, I almost forgot one thing. Now I was thinking I almost wrapped up the show today without doing my favorite part. The free Bitcoin casino spins. Right now we're at 34,443. Boy, a lot of 4s and 3s. We're at 34,460. Woohoo! Excuse me. Jeez, it's like you pour one shot of Mountain Dew into your water and you're burping like crazy. Right. Thanks again everyone who's been helping out with watching the show, commenting, liking, sharing. It's a big thanks. If anyone wants to share it to the Reddit community, I think I've been gone for a while now, that maybe you can post some of my best of clips to it. I'm not going to bother because I think I'm kicked out of the group. I can't remember where I left it, one or the other. I got to stop getting so pissy and quitting stuff. I kind of regret leaving Disclosed TV, but oh well. Anyways, Patreon, if you want to help out with that, sweet. Society 6 is cool too. Swagbucks, GameKit, Hideout, and Bitcoin. And the virtual maid sex machine is for adults and men only. But if ladies need a sex machine, they know who to call. Especially if you're near Toronto. Just kidding. Let's see. What else was there? Yeah. The Entropia zine. I got the link for that. Raven Jade's one of the coolest vampires in the entire Entropian universe. She got shops, she's got YouTube, and she's got her shirt store. So make sure to check all those out. I don't have the links to all of them, I think just the shirt store, but I'm sure you can find them. Raven Jade, can't miss her. She's got some very noticeable qualities. Huge boobs. Anyways, yeah, sorry for being a pig. Alright, take care everyone, and make sure you never buy the products from my sponsor. It will ruin your life. Bye for now, everyone. Tiger! Here's 3 things. See you later.